Hello everyone, welcome to Study IQ. In this video, I will bring to you the Banking Awareness Current. That is the third part of May 2024 Banking Awareness. This is the last part of the May Banking Awareness. Let's start. Which company has become the first automobile company to join the ONDC network? They will provide easy access to the accessories in the digital mode. If you want to buy their genuine spare parts, you can join the ONDC network. The company is Hero MotoCorp. It is the first automobile company to be present on the ONDC. And they will supply genuine spare parts here. ONDC was launched in 2021 by DPIIT, Department for Promotion of Industry and International Trade, that works under the Ministry of Commerce. Also, Bajaj Auto Company was also in news recently because it has become the world's first CNG motorcycle company. World's first CNG motorcycle company. And let me tell you, recently Chennai Metro became the first metro to be available on the ONDC. Chennai Metro is the first to join the ONDC. World Trade Organization members, they have commemorated which anniversary of the TRIPS agreement? This is called Trade Related Aspects of Intellectual Property Rights. So this is the 30th anniversary of the TRIPS agreement, which was celebrated on 25th of April 2024. Now let me tell you that there is a place called Marrakesh. Now in case you don't know, Marrakesh is a city, Marrakesh. It is a city in Morocco. The Marrakesh agreement, they helped create WTO in 1995. And TRIPS agreement has evolved over time. TRIPS agreement was developed as a part of the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, GATT, which is the parent organization of WTO. You can say the predecessor of WTO, and it became effective on 1st of January 1995. So TRIPS agreement became effective on 1st January 1995, and we are celebrating the 30th anniversary for the same. And WTO was set up in 1995, right? It is the successor of the General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs. Is that understood? So this is about the protection of intellectual property rights. Let me also tell you that WTO recently had their 13th Ministerial Conference in Abu Dhabi, and 2 more countries have joined WTO. 165th country to join WTO is Comoros, and 166th country to join WTO is the Timor-Leste. So these are the 2 new members of the WTO. Now can you tell me, at the 13th Ministerial in Abu Dhabi, who became the president of the or chairman of the WTO 13th Ministerial Conference? So it is a person from UAE. His name is Hani bin Ahmed Al Zayudi. Hani bin Ahmed Al Zayudi. He was declared as the chairman. Who among the following has been appointed as the new executive director of the UN Multi-Partner Trust Fund Office? The answer is Alain Naudehu. Alain Naudehu is from a country called Benin. So he is the new executive director of UN Multi-Partner Trust Fund Office. Basically, what is this? What is this UN Multi-Partner Trust Fund Office? Basically, this was set up in 2004, and this is the only United Nations entity dedicated to multi-stakeholder pooled financing instruments. For example, if there is a project which needs financing by multiple countries, then UN Multi-Partner Trust Fund Office comes into play. So it pools money from different stakeholders for any humanitarian project. And it works under UNDP, that is based in New York, United Nations Development Program. And if you remember, United Nations Development Program, they recently gave the Human Development Index also, and India was ranked 134 out of 193 countries. Our Human Development Index score was 0.644. 0.644. Switzerland was the number 1 country in this index. Understood that? Moving on now. As per the recently released mid-year update to the world economic situation and prospects, India's economy is expected to grow at what percentage in the year 2024? Now, who has given this report? It is the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. So according to them, our economy will grow at 6.9% in 2024. And what about 2025? We will grow at 6.6% in 2025. What about the world economy? So world economy, according to them, will grow at 2.7% in 2024 and 2.8% in 2025. As per recent information, India's internet economy is expected to reach $1 trillion by which year? India's internet economy will reach $1 trillion by 2030. And the main contribution in that will come from the e-commerce sector. E-commerce sector is growing at a very fast pace. Currently, the online shopping sector in India is only $60 billion, but by 2030, it will become $325 billion sector. So e-commerce sector is growing at an annual rate of 25%. So it will become $325 billion in 2030. So out of $1 trillion, you can say almost 1/3 will come from e-commerce. And e-commerce, so this is a report which is given by Invest India. It is given by Invest India, right? Invest India, they said that India's e-commerce sector will touch $325 billion by 2030. Who among the following has topped the recently released UK Sunday Times Rich List? Richest person of UK. So it is the Gopi Hinduja and family with a net worth of $37 billion. And in the same list, you can see one more Indian, Lakshmi Mittal and family at the 8th position. So these are the richest people in UK. The answer is Gopi Hinduja and family. Gopi Hinduja and family. Moving on, Asian Development Bank has given a loan of $148.5 million to which state of India to boost electricity supply? This is a loan given by ADB to which state? The answer is Sikkim. The answer is Sikkim. There is a Power for All initiative led by the Sikkim government. And ADB has given some more loans to India. For example, ADB has given a loan of $170 million to strengthen the healthcare sector in India. Then they have given $181 million loan recently to improve the livability and mobility in the Ahmedabad and surrounding area. That is the Peri-Ahmedabad area. $23 million loan they have given to boost the fintech education research in Gujarat. So they will set up International Fintech Institute inside the GIFT City in Gujarat. Which country has the most entries in the recently released the 9th edition of Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia list? Which country has the maximum entries? The answer is India. The answer is India. 86 entries were from India. This is a list of 300 very, very important people who are below the age of 30 who have achieved a lot. Which of the following company has signed a MOU with Common Service Center E-Governance Services India Limited for distribution of retail cattle insurance? Which company is that? So this is Agriculture Insurance Company of India Limited. And what do they want to do? Well, they have launched an animal insurance which is called Sampoorna Pashudhan Kavach. So just remember the name. Sampoorna Pashudhan Kavach is an insurance for the cattle, for the animals, launched by Agriculture Insurance Company of India. And since the common service centers, they have a lot of reach. And common service centers works under Ministry of Electronics and IT. And since they have a lot of reach, they can sell lot of products. So that is why Agriculture Insurance Company of India has partnered with them. Agriculture Insurance of Company of India is a public sector insurance company headquartered in New Delhi. And this company was set up in 2002. And currently it is under the ownership of Ministry of Finance. It was set up in 2002 with an authorized capital of 1500 crore. Moving on. Who among the following has topped the recently released list of world's highest paid athletes? So you can see Cristiano Ronaldo. He is a football player from Portugal. And currently he plays also for a football club called Al Nassr, which is a football club in Saudi Arabia. Then Spanish golf player Jon Rahm is second. Lionel Messi, Argentinian football player, is third. LeBron James, basketball. And then we have Giannis Antetokounmpo, basketball again. So these are the top 5 earning athletes in the world according to the Forbes. Narayan Waghul passed away. He was associated with which field? Extremely important question. He was a banker. Let me tell you something about this legendary person. He was awarded Padma Bhushan also, by the way. He got the Padma Bhushan when? In 2009. Padma Bhushan, So Padma Bhushan is very significant because after Bharat Ratna and Padma Vibhushan, it is the highest civilian honor. So you can say it is the 3rd highest civilian honor of India. So he became the chairman and managing director of Bank of India in 1981 at the age of just 44. He was the youngest chairman of any public sector bank. So when he became the chairman, he was only 44 years old and he became the chairman of Bank of India. Then between 1981 and 1985, he headed the development bank ICICI as its chairman and CEO. So he was also the chairman of ICICI and he was one of the founding members of ICICI Limited. And it was him who introduced the concept of credit rating in India, and he established CRISIL in 1987. And he has mentored a lot of Indian legendary bankers. So he was like the father of Indian modern banking. And very recently, he released his autobiography also called Reflections. Reflections, which government department has organized ONDC Startup Mahotsav, a first of its kind event that was held in New Delhi. So again, it was organized by DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce, and it is a unique collaboration between the Startup India and ONDC. By the way, Startup India scheme was also started by DPIIT. DPIIT. Now on ONDC, there are 5 lakh sellers now, and 70% of them are medium and small size industries which are selling their products. So ONDC is growing like anything, right? And Startup India scheme, it was started on 16th of January 2016 to set up a robust startup ecosystem in India. As per Bloomberg Billionaire Index, who among the following has become the first woman to achieve a net worth of $100 billion? What is her name? Her name is Bettencourt Mayer, and she is the chairman of the French beauty company called L'Oreal. L'Oreal. Bernard Arnault from France. Bettencourt Mayer is also from France, right? And L'Oreal company is also from France. So Bernard Arnault from France, the owner of Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, the luxury brand company, is the richest person in the world as per the Bloomberg Billionaire Index. Second is Jeff Bezos and third is Elon Musk. But of course, this list is very volatile. It keeps on changing as the share prices of their companies keeps on changing, right? Now, which of the following organization and AVPL International, they have signed a MOU to set up 70 skills and incubation hubs for global employment in the drone, Internet of Things, agriculture and allied sectors across India. So this is a partnership between two companies, okay, two organizations. So one is National Skill Development Corporation and the second one is AVPL International. Now AVPL International is a company that is based in Gurugram in Haryana, and they will set up 70 skill and incubation hub where they will teach about agricultural allied sector, drone and Internet of Things. These centers will be set up in different Indian states, and these centers, these hubs will also provide certificate courses from very prestigious institutions of India. National Skill Development Corporation is a non-for-profit company. It is a Section 25 company according to the Companies Act of 1956 and Section 8 company according to the Companies Act of 2013. Now, currently, the Ministry of Skill Development owns 49% stake in NSDC and the remaining 51% is owned by the private sector. Government of India has recovered what amount under amnesty scheme for exporters for one-time settlement of default in export obligations. So the exporters in India, they have certain rules and regulations which they have to follow. If they don't follow their export obligation and they default on them, then one-time settlement scheme was started and 852 crore has been recovered by the government of India. And the last date for this scheme was 31st of March 2024. 2024. Understood? So this is a important scheme because it gives a lot of relief to the exporters. If they have not met their obligations, then they can settle for less. It's a one-time settlement which the government of India provided to them. This scheme was launched by DGFT, Directorate General of Foreign Trade, which works under Ministry of Commerce. It works under the Ministry of Commerce. Which of the following company and Small Industries Development Bank of India have signed an MOU for financing the purchase of companies' helicopters in India? So this company is Airbus. Airbus Helicopters. Airbus Helicopter. If you want to purchase Airbus Helicopter in India, you can take a loan from SIDBI. So SIDBI has partnered with Airbus Helicopters. Which company has collaborated with SIDBI and Tourism Department of Uttarakhand to launch the Homestay Entrepreneurship Training Program along the Char Dham Yatra route? Which company am I talking about? I am talking about Ease My Trip. Ease My Trip is a New Delhi based company and they want to enhance the capabilities of 150 homestay owner. They will teach them about different things like hospitality, like housekeeping management, customer support, booking management, technology training, gas safety and security, waste management, environmental safety, and all those things. So they will help the homestay owners to become entrepreneurs. Which company has signed a MOU with Societe Generale? This is a French organization for financial support of $1 billion for energy transition projects in India and globally. In other words, which company is taking a loan from Societe Generale of France? This is Renew Energy Global PLC. Societe Generale is one of the leading financial services company in Europe, and it is headquartered in Paris, the capital of France. According to the Federation of Indian Export Organizations, the merchandise export from India has been expected to increase to what amount in the financial year 25, which is going on right now. So it will increase to 500 to $510 billion. And what about the year that has ended, financial year 24? Our merchandise exports, it decreased by 3.11% to $437 billion. $437 billion, right? So this is the manufacturing export. What about the services export? Services export will be something like 390 to $400 billion. 390 to $400 billion will be the services export. So goods plus services export will be how much? You add both of these, this and this. So it comes out to be 890 to $910 billion. And we want this number. We want to export, that is, we want to export goods. Goods means merchandise and services. We want to export it $2 trillion by 2030. This is our foreign trade policy. This is the target that we have kept for ourselves. Which company has become the third unicorn company of India in 2024? So only 2 companies became unicorn. Now the third one is Porter, which is a logistics company. It is a logistics company, right? Unicorn is a company that touches a market valuation of at least $1 billion. The first one was artificial intelligence startup called Krutrim, and the second one was a company called Perfios. So Perfios was the second, and the third one is now Porter. India has been ranked at which position in the World Economic Forum's Travel and Tourism Development Index? In Travel and Tourism Development Index, you can see America is number 1, Spain is number 2, and Japan is number 3. India is ranked 39. And this index was given by World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum in collaboration with University of Surrey, which is located in England, and it takes into account different factors like enabling environment, travel and tourism policies, infrastructure, resources, and sustainability. Reserve Bank of India Central Board of Directors has approved the transfer of what amount as a surplus to the Union Government for the financial year 24. So this I have already covered in the RBI annual report. The amount, you must have marked it up by now. The amount was 2,10,874 crore rupees. 2,10,807. This is the highest ever yearly surplus transfer to the Government of India by the Indian Central Bank, and this is based on economic capital framework that was given by the Bimal Jalan Committee. Bimal Jalan Committee. Which of the following city has topped the recently released Oxford Economics Global Cities Index? Which city is that? So here you can see it is New York. New York is number 1, London is number 2, and San Jose City in US is number 3. So this index takes into account different parameters like economics, human capital, quality of life, environment, and governance. Now Delhi was the best Indian city in this list, but globally it is ranked at 350th position. Competition Commission of India celebrated which Foundation Day on 20th of May 2024. So they celebrated their 15th Foundation Day. Competition Commission of India, it became fully functional in 2009. Currently, Ravneet Kaur is the chairman. The job of Competition Commission of India is to ensure fair and just trade. Which of the following trades platform in India has crossed the 1 lakh crore mark in MSME invoice financing? This is Receivables Exchange of India Limited, RXIL. RXIL. More than 25,000 MSMEs are registered here, and RXIL is a joint venture between SIDBI, National Stock Exchange, State Bank of India, ICICI Bank, and Yes Bank. Right? So it has crossed 1 lakh crore in MSME invoice financing. Now, what is TRED? Trade Receivable Electronic Discounting System. I have explained to you before also. For example, let's say you are a MSME and you have sold 100 TV. You manufacture TVs, right? So you have sold 100 TVs to a company worth 5 lakh rupees. Okay, worth 5 lakh rupees. One TV is 5,000 rupees, assuming. So 100 TVs are 5 lakh rupees. Now this 5 lakh, they will pay you after 3 months. Now you need money. You can't wait for 3 months. So this is a receivable that you have to receive from the company. So this 5 lakh you can sell at a discount on the Trades platform, any of the Trades platform. There are a lot of Trades platform in India. So let's say someone will pay you 4.9 lakh right now, and he will make 10,000 profit when this company pays to him after 3 months. So this is how trades work. That is why it is called trade receivables discounting platform. You sell your receivables at a discount because you need money urgently. And Receivables Exchange of India Limited has crossed 1 lakh crore in MSME invoice financing. For the first time, market capitalization of all the companies listed on Bombay Stock Exchange crossed $5 trillion. India has become which country in terms of the market capitalization? India has become the 5th largest in terms of market capitalization. America is number 1, $55 trillion. China is number 2, $9 trillion. Japan is number 3, $6.1 trillion. Hong Kong is number 4 with $5.5 trillion, and India is 5. Bombay Stock Exchange is the oldest stock exchange of India. It was set up in 1875. 1875. It is located on Dalal Street, Mumbai. As per the EPFO data, the formal job creation in India increased by what percentage in the financial year 24 compared to financial year 23? So it increased by 11.4%. The answer is option B, 11.4%. So what was the job creation in financial year 23? 13.85 million. And in financial year 24, it was 15.4 million. So if you do the math, it comes out to be 11.4%. According to the recently released World Bank report, State and Trends of Carbon Pricing, total revenue from carbon taxes and emission trading system have reached a record high of what amount? So what is carbon pricing? That I will explain you in a bit. First of all, the answer is $104 billion. Carbon pricing revenues have crossed 100 billion for the first time. These were 104 billion, right? In 2023. Now there are around 75 carbon pricing instruments which are in operation worldwide. And these instruments cover around 24% of the greenhouse gas emissions. So what is all this? So basically, carbon pricing is a mechanism where you incentivize the companies for less carbon emission. And you put a penalty on the companies for more carbon emission. That is called carbon pricing. So it is an instrument that captures the external cost of the greenhouse gas emission. It is paid by the public for damage to the crops, healthcare cost, from heat waves, from droughts, loss of property from flooding, sea level rise. So it is like a price, carbon price that you are paying, right? For greenhouse gas emission. And how the government recovers it? Government puts a lot of taxes, etc. And they incentivize these companies to have less carbon emission. Otherwise, the public will pay the cost of it. That is called carbon pricing. So total revenue from carbon taxes and emission trading system is 104 billion USD. Moving on, as per recently released working paper, Financing Gap for Universal Social Protection by ILO, International Labour Organization, headquartered in Geneva, the governments of the low and middle income countries, they need to increase spending by what additional amount to ensure universal social protection. So they need to spend $1.4 trillion. $1.4 trillion. So the financing gap is 3.3% of the GDP, combined GDP of the low and middle income countries together. Of the middle and low income countries together. What about India? In India also, it is 3.3% of our GDP, the financing gap, and India needs $135.3 billion. $135.3 billion to ensure universal social protection. Universal social protection. International Financial Services Center Authority, they have made a committee. They want to make GIFT City in Gujarat as a global commodity trading hub. Who will be the chairman of the committee? The chairman will be Mr. Rajiv Kher. He is the former secretary in the Ministry of Commerce. Who among the following will become the chairman of the Board of Trustee of the World Economic Forum by January 2025? So it is Mr. Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab is the founder and he is the executive chairman. But now he will transition. Currently he is the chairman, but he will become the chairman of the Board of Trustees. So he is changing his position basically. That's all he is doing. As per RBI data, the net FDI into India has declined to what amount in the fiscal year, financial year 24? Net FDI. Now you need to understand the formula. What is net FDI? So it was $10.58 billion. In the financial year 23, it was $27.98 billion net FDI. So it has decreased by 62.17%. Now here is the math. So net FDI is net inward FDI minus net outward FDI. Does that make sense? Net FDI is net inward FDI minus net outward FDI. So net outward FDI means what? The amount of money that Indians are investing abroad. That is net outward FDI. This money has gone out of India. People are investing abroad. See, other countries also receive FDI from India. That was how much? That was $16 billion. So that was the net outward FDI. Okay. Now let's calculate net inward FDI. So net inward FDI means what? It means the net inward. Okay. This means inward FDI. So how much money came in India? $71 billion. And how much was sent back? How much was withdrawn? Repatriated means went back to the source or disinvestment. Again, the money somebody invest and somebody disinvest. So you minus that. So that was 44.4. So how much that became? 26.5. So 26.5 was the net inward FDI. So for example, if I'm investing 10 rupee in your company and I'm taking back 7, I'm investing net what? 3. Net inward FDI is 3. That is what I'm saying. The gross inflow in India was $71 billion, but 44.4 out of that was repatriated, or they took it back. So the net inward FDI was 26.5 and net outward FDI, which Indians invested abroad, was $16 billion. So you do the math, it comes out to be $10.6 billion. Approximately $10.6 billion. This is the net FDI. Understood? And this was significantly less. So here is the math. 44.4 billion of the 70.9 billion. 70.9 billion, roughly 71 billion was the inward FDI. 44.4 billion was repatriated through different modes like dividend, share sale or disinvestment, and another 15.696 billion or approximately 16 billion it was invested overseas by the Indians. And this is a source of FDI country wise. So Singapore 11.8, it was number 1 source of FDI in India. Mauritius number 2, US number 3, Netherlands number 4, and Japan number 5. You can see Netherlands FDI almost doubled, 100% growth, 2.5 to 4.9. Huge increase, you know. And this is the sector wise inflow. You can see the manufacturing sector received $9.3 billion, the highest of all. As per the recent data shared by RBI, unclaimed deposits in the public and private sector banks have reached what amount? Unclaimed deposits are if you don't touch your saving account for 10 years or if you don't touch your term deposit or FD for 10 years after the maturity date. Then it becomes unclaimed deposit. It is sent to the Depositor Education and Awareness Fund of the Reserve Bank of India. So what was the total unclaimed deposit? 42,270 crore. And this was the amount. This is the amount unclaimed deposit. And now if you want to do a breakdown of that, so most of these deposits, you know, they were in the public sector banks, almost 83%. In State Bank of India, these were the highest, around 8,000 crore. You don't have to remember the amount, just take an idea. SBI number 1, Punjab National Bank was number 2 at around 5,000 crore. And among the private banks, ICICI Bank had around 1,000 crore. So ICICI Bank held the maximum unclaimed deposit. HDFC Bank was second at 447 crore. And this is for the financial year 23. Now there is a portal also called Udgam portal where you can get to know unclaimed deposits gateway to access information, in short Udgam, where you can check your unclaimed deposits. According to the Bombay Stock Exchange data, India's market capitalization to gross domestic product ratio, GDP ratio, has recorded a growth of what? It is a 15-year high. So what is the answer? The answer is 140.2%. 140.2%. Now, if you see the market capitalization of all the companies, you know that it came out to be around 5 trillion. You divide it by the GDP of India, which would be what? Around 3.9 trillion, something like that. So this ratio will come out to be around 140.2%. This is the highest in the last 15 years. And that is because the market capitalization of the companies is increasing at a very fast pace. And this $5 trillion was touched on which date? 21st of May. According to the Wall Street Journal's list of the highest paid CEOs in the world, who among the following has become the world's second highest paid CEO? He is an Indian. His name is Nikesh Arora. And he is the CEO of a company called Palo Alto Network. His salary is $151 million per year. Number 1 is Hock Tan, CEO of a company called Broadcom. And at third position, Stephen Schwarzman, the CEO of Blackstone. Jetha Ahir has been elected as the chairman of which organization? He has been elected as the chairman of NAFED. Now, what is NAFED? NAFED is an organization which works in the field of agriculture, right? NAFED. So, the answer is National Agriculture Cooperative Marketing Federation of India. In short, simply NAFED. He has become the chairman of this organization. And NAFED was set up in 1958. It has headquartered in Delhi and it works for marketing of the cooperative agriculture products. Which company from Adani Group has become the first company to be added to the Sensex on the Bombay Stock Exchange? This company is Adani Ports. Adani Ports and Special Economic Zone on 24th of June, it was added to the Sensex and it replaced Wipro. Right? Now, there are certain criteria for being included in the Sensex. For example, you have to be among the top 75 companies in terms of market capitalization, right? And you should be trading for at least last 6 months, trading regularly. And this list is revised 2 times a year, in June and then again in December. June and then in December. In Sensex, how many companies are there? 30. Sensex was launched when? It was launched in 1986 and it is on the Bombay Stock Exchange. It tracks the performance of 30 largest, most liquid and most financially sound companies at the Bombay Stock Exchange, like Reliance, like ICICI, like ITC, all these companies, right? And how it is different from Nifty? So Nifty tracks 50 companies and it tracks the companies from NSE, National Stock Exchange, not the Bombay Stock Exchange. Nifty 50. We call it Nifty 50 or simply Nifty. It was started in 1995. Reserve Bank of India has launched a portal called, which portal? If you want to take any regulatory approval from RBI, so it is called Pravaha Portal, platform for regulatory application, validation and authorization. So it is known as Pravaha Portal. If you want to take any regulatory approval from the Reserve Bank of India. Very important. As per recent data shared by RBI, outward remittance from India under liberalized remittance scheme had hit a record high of what amount in financial year 24. Liberalized remittance scheme was started in 2004 February and current limit is $250,000 US. This is the amount you can send outside India, right? And if you want to know the total amount which was sent outside of India under the remittance, so that amount was $31.73 billion. $31.73 billion. This is the amount. This is the outward remittance and it has increased. If you compare it with financial year 23, it has increased by 16.91%. And it is mainly because of international travel spending. A lot of people are going outside of India for tourism and they are spending this amount. So liberalized remittance scheme was started in 2004. Current limit is what? $250,000 USD per year. Which company has introduced India's first satellite in orbit third-party liability insurance policy? It provides financial protection to meet the needs of the satellite manufacturers and operators in the Indian space sector. So, an insurance policy for satellites. Which company has launched it? It is Tata AIG General Insurance. It is the first private company in India to offer a satellite insurance cover. Satellite insurance cover, right? So very, very interesting. Which company has introduced Bima Central? It is India's first insurance portfolio management platform to transform customer experience with innovation. Bima Central has been launched by SBI General Insurance Company Limited. And for that, they have, it has collaborated with Bima Central, which was developed by CAMS. So State Bank of India has introduced Bima Central insurance portfolio management platform in partnership with CAMS, right? CAMS company is based in Chennai. Now SBI General Insurance, they have started surety bonds and they have started surety bond Bima. Surety bond Bima. What is surety bonds? So surety bond, basically it decreases the risk of both the contractor and the principal. Like for example, if Government of India wants to make a road and it has given a contract to some contractor, the contractor will buy the insurance from an insurance company. That is called a surety bond. So if the road does not satisfy the government's criteria, government will be compensated by the insurance company and contractor will pay a premium to the insurance company. So this is how the surety bonds work. So SBI General Insurance Company has launched surety bond bima. Which company has received the approval from SEBI for additional 3 years to comply with minimum public shareholding norms? See, any listed company in India, whether it is listed on the Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange, and if it has a market value of more than $1 billion, then it should have minimum 25% minimum public shareholding. Understood? Minimum public shareholding. Now, LIC, the answer is LIC. Now look, LIC went for the IPO on 17th of May 2022, right? And within 5 years, it had to have minimum 10% public shareholding. And within 10 years, it has to have minimum 25% public shareholding. So 2 years are completed, 17th of May 2024. So it has been given extra 3 years to first reach 10% minimum public shareholding. So it has to reach 10% public shareholding now till 16th of May 2027. 2027. Understood? It has been given 3 more years to achieve 10% public shareholding. And of course, later on, it has to achieve minimum 25% public shareholding. So this has been done for the LIC. Moving on. Which of the following company has partnered with Sri Lanka's LankaPay to facilitate UPI transactions for its users in Sri Lanka? The answer is PhonePe. PhonePe has done a partnership with Sri Lanka's company called LankaPay. Which bank has secured a funding of $500 million from International Finance Corporation, which is a part of the World Bank Group, to support underserved women borrowers in India? So it has raised money from IFC. The answer is HDFC Bank, and it will give this money to the women of the self-help groups and joint liability groups as microloans, and this is for Sustainable Livelihoods Initiative. IRDAI has asked the insurance companies to grant the final authorization within how many hours of receiving the receipt of discharge request from the hospital? Within 3 hours. They have to grant the final authorization within 3 hours. That's it. If it is an insurance if there is any delay beyond 3 hours, then the additional amount that the hospital charges, if any, then has to be borne by the insurance company. It has to be borne by the insurance company. And IRDAI also said that they are targeting 100% cashless claim settlement in a time-bound manner. And in emergency cases, by the way, in emergency cases, within 1 hour of receiving the request, the cashless authorization has to be within 1 hour in emergency. Otherwise, it has to be within 3 hours. Rishabh Gandhi has become the managing director and CEO of which organization? He has become the MD and CEO of India First Life Insurance Company. And Pradeep Natarajan has become the whole-time executive director of IDFC First Bank Limited, and PK Sinha has become the non-executive part-time chairman of ICICI Bank. Which of the following bank has emerged the top performer among the PSBs in the terms of business growth during the financial year 24? Business growth simply means growth in deposits and loans. So this is Bank of Maharashtra. Bank of Maharashtra. You can see Bank of Maharashtra, the growth in its business was 15.94%. Second was SBI, 13.12% growth. So these are the two banks which showed maximum growth. Maximum growth. Let me give you some more data. So let's talk about deposits. In deposits also, Bank of Maharashtra was number 1, 15.66% growth. SBI was second, 11.07% growth. Third was Bank of India, 11.05% growth, and Canara Bank was fourth. Now, out of the 12 public sector banks, only 4 banks, these 4 which I have told you, had double-digit growth, that is more than 10%. So, Bank of Maharashtra number 1, SBI number 2, Bank of India number 3, and Canara Bank number 4. What about the low-cost current account and saving account deposits? Again, it was Bank of Maharashtra. The growth was 52%. Second was Central Bank of India, 50%. And high CASA ratios are beneficial as they reduce the cost of funds for the banks. What about the non-performing assets? Bank of Maharashtra and SBI reported the lowest gross NPAs. So gross NPA of Bank of Maharashtra is 1.88% only, and SBI is 2.24%. Right? What about net NPA? net NPA are the lowest for Bank of Maharashtra, again 0.2%, and Indian Bank is second best with 0.43%. What about capital adequacy ratio? Again, Bank of Maharashtra is number one. Capital adequacy is the best, 17.38%. Second is Indian Overseas Bank, 17.28%. Third is Punjab and Sindh Bank, 17.16%. Government of India will receive what dividends from public sector banks in financial year 24? Now, you know that public sector banks of India made huge profits, and they will get about 30% more dividends from the public sector banks. These are handsome payout. What are dividends? They will be paid per share, So let me show you which banks will pay them. Now, some calculation has been done by a company which says that PSBs will pay dividends aggregating to 18,000 crore in financial year 24. In financial year 23, it was 13,800 crore. So this is a growth of 30%. 30%, right? Now let me show you. So State Bank of India will pay the dividend at like 13 rupees per equity share. And so 39% of all the dividend that the government of India will get, which is around 18,000 crore, 18,013 crore. 39% of that will be contributed by one bank only, State Bank of India. That will give the highest. Second is Bank of Baroda. Bank of Baroda, 14% of the dividend will be paid by Bank of Baroda of this amount, 18,013 crore. Third highest by Canara Bank. Canara Bank, 10% of this amount. And these are the top three. Which of the following bank has made investment in CCIL IFSC Limited? It has acquired around 6% stake in this company. So it is the State Bank of India. State Bank of India, right? So it will improve its presence in the GIFT City. CCIL IFSC is developing. This is a company that was started to develop and operate the foreign currency settlement system at the GIFT City. Also, HSBC has also acquired same 6.15% stake in CCIL IFSC. HSBC also. Now, how much percent SBI owns after this acquiring this much percent? SBI has 16.8% stake now in CCIL IFSC. CCIL IFSC is promoted by CCIL, Clearing Corporation of India, which has the maximum stake in this, 57.125%. This company is relatively recent. It was started with an authorized capital of 200 crore and paid up capital of 100 crore. Which company has become the first asset management company in India to launch its own brand sound called the Sound of Freedom? This is Nippon India Asset Management Company, the Sound of Freedom, and it is the first to have its own musical sound. Now there is a committee, expert committee set up by SEBI to review the ownership and economic structure of clearing corporations of India. So it was chaired by Usha Thorat. Which bank has introduced Mahakrishi Samruddhi Yojana to offer financial assistance to the food and agro-based industries in India? Which bank has done it recently? So this is the Bank of Maharashtra. Bank of Maharashtra. And maximum loan limit is 100 crore. As per recent information, which country emerged as India's largest trading partner with 118.4 billion of two-way commerce? It is China. America was number 2, $118.3 billion. UAE was number 3. And Russia was number 4. So these are the top countries with which we do business, right? UAE was number 3 and Russia now was number 4. Russia rose to the 4th position. Now there is a company based in Tamil Nadu, Chennai called Shriram Finance. They are selling their housing finance subsidiary called Shriram Housing Finance to a New York company called Warburg Pincus. This is a deal worth 4,630 crore. So Shriram Housing Finance has been sold to Warburg Pincus. Yes Bank has launched their debit card called Yes Grandeur. Just remember the name. This is for high net worth individuals, rich people who are maintaining an average monthly balance of 5 lakh rupees. National Stock Exchange of India, they have announced that they are lowering their tick size for all the stocks from 5 paisa to 1 paisa for securities priced below 250 rupees. What is tick price? So tick size is the minimum price increment between the two consecutive bid and offer sell prices. For example, I want to buy a share. Okay, I am bidding 118.01. Now I did not get the share. So next I can bid 118.02. I can increase my bid by just 1 paisa. Earlier I had to bid 118.6 because the difference had to be minimum 5 paisa between the two bids, but now it can be just 1 paisa. And it has become effective from 10th of June 2024. The main objective is to enhance the liquidity and improve the price discovery by allowing more granular price adjustments. That was a video, banking awareness for the month of May set 3. I'll see you in May. Now May is over, so I'll see you in June set 1. Thank you for watching Study IQ.